Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're back with the Tomb Kings, gonna be taking on the Wood Elves, so let's get to the army composition. This is potentially a very tough matchup, probably one of the toughest for the Tomb Kings in my opinion at least. So let's have a look at the armies and see what we're gonna be up against. KHATEP, of course. On a chariot is his tankiest option, in my opinion. It does give 95 armor and 74 speed, as well as, of course, anti-infantry, being a chariot. In terms of spells, we've got Incantation of Cursed Blades, Incantation of Protection, and, of course, the Bound Sandstorm with the Lich Staff. So every time we cast a spell, we're going to be adding a plus 15 ability recharge to our opponent's ability recharge time, so that does include spells, of course, as well. Got 4 skeleton chariots, so you're going to be very good against the light wood elf infantry. Got 4 Nehekar horsemen, 2 on each flank. Front line is a whole bunch of skeletons, 4 skeleton spears and 4 skeleton warriors. We've also got Nushabti Greatbow, who is currently pulling back from all these Deepwood scouts who just came into visibility. We've got 4 of them. We've also got Wild Riders and Sisters of Thorn out on this flank. For myself, 2 Carrion as well, kind of pushing up the flanks. Another unit of Wild Riders. We've got a main line of Eternal Guard here, the Lady up on a dragon, and a Spell Singer, Lore of Life up on an eagle. And that's pretty much it for both sides, so let's get the battle underway. And I believe this is actually Aristodemos. You guys may see he comments on a lot of my videos. Very good player. At least I think it's him. But anyway, going to be pushing forward on all fronts here. The Carrion are being thrown down here to tie these units down. Getting rear charged by the Wild Riders, though they are going to crumble very, very quickly. This is a little bit premature. I underestimated how slow these Nehekar horsemen are. They're not going to be able to reach here in time. My idea was that these guys would be tied down by the Carrion, and I could get a rear charge with these Nehekar horsemen. But unfortunately, that's not exactly how it worked out. Nehekar horsemen actually are pretty decent for light cavalry and for their cost. Particularly, my idea was that I could overcast the Cursed Blades, give them a bonus versus large, and then they trade really well against the Wood Elf Cav here. But Curse of Arnrare going down on these 2 units of Nehekar horsemen as they charge in there, and the Glady does net down this unit of skeleton chariots and charge down to try and goon KHATEP. It is worth noting, if I'm going to pop Nero's Incantation of Protection, but that being said, the Glady does indeed do magic damage on the dragon, so the Incantation of Protection is not going to help against the Glade Lord. It will help against the Spell Singer, but the Glade Lord's going to cut straight through that physical resistance. Meanwhile, over on the far side, the Chariot's coming in for a massive alpha strike against these Deepwood scouts who are a little bit exposed here. Unfortunately, the Eternal Guard not quite in a position to support along with the Wild Riders, so we get a ton of damage done on these Deepwood scouts. 2 of the units, one of them even getting routed off there, but you can see KHATEP in a very dangerous situation, getting hunted down very aggressively by the dragon. So my idea here is the single Nushabti Greatbow is exactly for taking out these kind of large high-value targets, just in case my opponent brought something armored, like maybe some trees or something, or this dragon. So we're going to use this unit of chariots to lock this Glady down on the ground, so the Nushabti Greatbows can continuously fire away. The Glady on the dragon also only has 50 armor, so even the skeleton spears will be able to get a little bit of work done over time. You can see another unit of skeleton chariots coming in to pin the dragon in. And one advantageous, we can see a sandstorm going down over here as well. Over on this side, the Nehekar horsemen pushing forward, cleaning up more of the Deepwood scouts. And unfortunately, the Eternal Guard are just too few in number here to be able to protect. There's a massive, this is a full stack Tomb King army. So, yeah, anyway, the Tomb King chariots have enough mass to keep this Glady pinned on the ground. They're also fast enough to keep up with her. And specifically with the Tomb King chariots, they have enough unit models to actually get like a full surround here. But you can see KHATEP duking it out with the Spell Singer here. He's actually got, he had the physical resistance just before, but now I actually overcast Cursed Blades on him to give him on the chariot a bonus versus large, just for a bit of fun here. as he fights the Spellsinger. But yeah, you can see pushing through in the back line again. These Wild Riders are actually, Sisters of Thorn actually have caught up the chariots now. Wild Riders caught up on Nehekara Horsemen over here, responding very nicely to shut them down. However, they are going to be bogged down for some time there. And yeah, that was one of the ideas, at least, is that even if the Nehekara Horsemen don't beat Wild Riders, they're going to be more in number than the Wild Riders, so they can at least tie them down, force them to make a decision about whether they want to try and shut down the chariots or the Nehekara Horsemen. My opponent only had 3 mobility units there, so I had, what, 8 to 10 if you count the carrion. So yeah, it was going to be tough for him to respond to all of the different chariots and the Nehekara Horsemen, everything all at once. You can see the dragon actually got taken down on the ground, so the Ushabti Greatbows were able to take him down, just being pinned down by those chariots on the ground the whole time. It's definitely going to be pretty decisive in my favor. The Spellsinger also gets routed off. KHATEP barely still alive despite the heavy gooning attempts, and at this point there's nothing really to protect the archers. We've got a huge line of chariots coming back here to finish off the Deepwood Scouts, and yeah, man, the Wood Elf units will just take so much impact damage. That's why chariots are one of my favorite tools to use against the Wood Elves. And Tomb King chariots, especially with their extra unit models, just do so much impact damage. It's awesome. And it's nice that the Tomb King chariots are a bit cheaper and that they're somewhat viable in certain matchups, considering that the Tomb Kings are supposed to be kind of a chariot faction, like the best chariot faction. So you can see KHATEP using his chariot to good effect here to kind of outmaneuver the attacks of the Spellsinger there. But we are going to dive in, because we do have some infantry spore on station. Unfortunately, KHATEP actually goes down here, but thankfully for me, the balance power is far enough in my favor that we should be able to finish things off. Sisters of Thorn finishing off another unit of chariots there. We've still got these two in the back line trying to run down what's left of the Deepwood Scouts. Meanwhile, over here, Scorpion Legion, who have been fighting this unit of Eternal Guard pretty much the whole battle, are slowly winning due to their poison and their good melee defense. Yeah, it's going to take them quite a while to win. They should be able to cut through those Eternal Guard. Meanwhile, over here, these guys are crumbling. These guys just crumbled away. We still do have a big old glob of skeletons here, though. And the 2 skeleton chariots, although one of them's crumbling and probably won't last much longer, actually dropping some of its unit models now. And yeah, Sisters of Thorn going to be using up the last of their ammunition to shoot in at these skeleton chariots, doing some pretty good damage, honestly. Probably going to finish off both units here. But let's fast forward a little bit through this late game, as there is some repositioning. You can see the Scorpion Legion get dived by the Spellsinger, but that's not the best idea. The Ushabti Greatbow, who has just been free to fire all game, racked up 2 XP chevrons taking down the Glady, is now focused with the last of their ammunition on the Spellsinger Lore of Life, of course. The Scorpion Legion finally win that fight there and rout off those Eternal Guards. So now the final engagement getting underway. You can see the Scorpion Legion pushing forward here. They're going to stop, unfortunately not quite in time to get their bracing bonus against the remaining Sisters of Thorn there. The Spellsinger also comes down, but that is going to allow her to get hit a couple times by those Ushabti Greatbows, and her leadership's getting pretty low. Looks like Shield of Thorn's going down from the Sisters of Thorn there, no doubt. And yeah, they're going to charge in. Unfortunately, there's still a whole bunch of skeleton spears left, and despite the fact that the Sisters of Thorn do have heavy physical resistance, they will get worn down over time. And the infantry as well, there's just the Eternal Guards are getting very, very few in number to contend with so many skeletons still on the table. Not to mention this full unit of Ushabti Greatbows, which is now used the last of its ammunition and is making its way forward to try and get into combat here. We'll see if the Wood Elf units even hold up their leadership. One final really clutch Earthblood to try and hold things together, but you can see the skeletons just pushing forward, just flooding the Wood Elf units here. And the Spellsinger also getting a bit surrounded by skeleton spears, which, despite the fact that they have very poor attack stats, I mean, the Spellsinger doesn't have the best defensive stats on the Eagles, so she's going to get routed off, and with that, it'll be critical army losses for the Wood Elves and victory for the Tomb Kings. And honestly, I really can't believe that build worked. I was not really expecting much, but the idea was just to flood the board with skeletons and just throw so many bodies at the Wood Elves that they almost couldn't handle the amount of chaff. Fortunately for me, my opponent here did not bring any war dancers, sword dancers specifically, as they would have cut through my skeletons in a big hurry. Then again, they do take a lot of impact damage from chariots, so you know, maybe it would have worked out for me. But in terms of the army breakdown, skeleton warriors and spears across the line kind of all contributing. I mean, 34 kills on a unit of skeleton warriors against wood elves is not bad at all. KHATEP himself getting 32 kills, mostly having to run away from gooning air units the entire time, but Ushabti Greatbows are definitely an MVP in my book. I probably wouldn't bring too many of them in this matchup just because the AP missiles of the wood elves are potentially a huge risk. So yeah, the Ushabti Greatbows though, in this case, because I had such a wide army, I was able to push forward and hold back my opponent's mobility, so there was really no chance of him getting to my Ushabti Greatbows. The only recourse he would have had would be to shoot at it, but my idea was we push forward fast enough and, you know, wide enough that we push his archers back so they can't return fire at the Ushabti Greatbow. Ended up working out okay, and you know, pinning the dragon down with the chariots, keeping him on the ground and in a position for the Ushabti to get solid hits on him. Ended up proving a pretty decisive blow. One thing I'm not too sure about, and maybe Aristo, if this was actually you can explain your thought process in the comments down below. Deepwood Scouts don't have the best AP values compared to like Starfire Shafts and what are they called? I can't remember now. Way Watchers, that's it. Yeah, they have less AP values than those units, so curious to see why he brought the Deepwood Scouts rather than those AP missile units, but maybe he was planning on shooting more at infantry and other, you know, like Tech Cav and other lighter units for the Tomb Kings. But Wild Riders and Sisters of Thorn, two of them picking up an XP Chevron. The other Wild Rider didn't quite, although he's probably pretty close at the end of the day. 43 kills in the Spellsinger as well, not too bad. Coming down on her Eagle, doing some nice damage to KHATEP and to the skeletons, but not quite enough at the end of the day. Very well played my opponent though. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that one. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so that every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.